Hey everybody, it's Jourdan from the Lee County Enrichment Center back. Today we're going to do another craft. I can't wait to see all y'all's final products whenever we're finished. This video will be available to watch anytime on YouTube and on Facebook when we're done. So feel free to come back, watch it however many times you'd like to, make multiple different things. Today, we are going to turn this glass jar into a nice little candle holder, flower vase. Really, there's so many different things you can do with it. So first, we're going to go over our materials. You're going to need a glass jar. You can see I grabbed this one. I just like the shape of this one. You can really get any style, any type. It doesn't really matter what it is, just something glass. We're going to need Mod Podge. You can see here, I got this Mod Podge at Hobby Lobby. You can buy it at any craft store, Walmart. This one was about $5. You can also, if you plan it right, can get it on sale, get it a little cheaper. So that's always fun. We're going to use foam brushes for this. This works better than the paint brushes, so the bristles can't fall off. So a foam brush is going to work nice. I got these at Hobby Lobby as well, but you can also get these at Dollar Tree, Walmart, really any kind of store you can get these. I don't have a candle with me today, but I do have a little tea light that I'm going to use, and we're going to add this in at the end. Again, if you're making a candle holder, you can put in a candle. I'm going to use a tea light, flowers, many different things we can use. And for the outside, I'm going to use tissue paper. So I actually picked this tissue paper up at Dollar Tree. I loved it because there are so many different colors in here and it's kind of hard to see, but it looks like little sprinkles in the tissue paper. So I thought that would be a really fun design on here. You don't just have to use tissue paper when doing this though. You can use tissue paper, you can use napkins, fabric, really any type of thin material is going to work. Obviously fabric's going to take a little bit more Mod Podge because it is a little thicker, but tissue paper works just fine. So other things, you might need some scissors if you want to cut out certain designs from your tissue paper. I also like to always have some paper towels on hand because you know crafting can get a little bit messy. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I am going to use the small brush I got a pack of 3. I'm just going to use the small one for this project because we don't have a big area. And for our tissue paper, get it open without ripping everything up. I had a lot of fun designs of tissue paper at Dollar Tree when we went. So if you were looking for, these are just plain colors, but they had some of different seasonal things. So if you're looking for something like a holiday season or a birthday or anything like that, this is a good place to check out to go find you some fun tissue paper. I'm just going to get 1 sheet of each color and put to the side. Probably not going to need more than 1 of each. And I probably won't even use a whole sheet of each of them, but I want to have a little bit of variety on mine. So I'm going to use all of these colors. And 1 more, we've got blue. All right. Get all my trash out of the way. So with this Mod Podge, I'm going to go ahead and open it first, and I'm going to show you. Well, I said I was going to open it. There we go. When you're using this, if you want to get like a paper plate or something like that to spread your Mod Podge on, that would be fine. Since I'm using the small paintbrush, my paintbrush will go right down in the bottle, so I don't have to worry about not getting any on my brush. All right, see, I've already made a mess. So this Mod Podge it's kind of like glue. It's going to be a little bit thicker, but when you're putting it on, the thicker you put it on, the longer it's going to take to dry, obviously. So just be careful whenever you put it on, not to layer it on too much so that it's not running down and dripping or anything like that. So we actually don't need our Mod Podge yet. I don't know why I got it out, but we're going to start with our tissue paper. And I told you that you might need some scissors. If you want to cut these into fancy little shapes, that's what you can do right now. So if you wanted to do all hearts or stars or circles or maybe letters, whatever you want to do, that's the fun thing about crafting. This is just, there's so many options. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rip some so that there's no straight edges. I don't want there to be any straight edges because I'm just going to do mine kind of all over the place. I'm not really going for a pattern here. I'm just going to layer them all around. I'm going to do a little bit of the blue, and I'm just sitting them to the side after I tear them. Now I'm going to move to the green. And again, you can see about what size I'm doing it. There's no right or wrong when it comes to this. That's the fun thing about it. Fun thing about crafting, there's no right or wrong. This one is just going to be very colorful. It'd be a great little centerpiece with your candle in it, or, you know, if you wanted a pen holder, something like that to sit on your desk. It'd be pretty because it's got lots of different colors. Like I said earlier, it looks kind of like sprinkles. So I think I might go home and make a cake or some cupcakes or something. All right. Let's see. I'll make these pink ones a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to tear a little bit, and then I'm going to put some on the glass so that we can see how much we've got left. So I'm going to get our Mod Podge. I'm just going to put a little in the brush. I'm going to start at the bottom of my jar. So I'm just going to turn mine upside down. I'm not actually going to do the bottom. You can if you want to, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to put a little bit of the Mod Podge on here. And you can see it really just goes on like glue. So we're just going to paint it on here. And after I've covered a little bit of space, I'm going to put my tissue paper. And again, I'm doing this in no order. So I'm just grabbing one. I've got my tissue paper on. I'm going to stick it back in the Mod Podge, and I'm going to paint over it. This is going to allow that tissue paper to stick to the Mod Podge. So Mod Podge on the glass, then we put the tissue paper, and then we add more over it. And we're going to do that through the whole thing. So if you want to put Mod Podge on a little section and then put the tissue paper on and go back with the Mod Podge, that will probably work best. That's what I'm getting ready to do. Actually, I'm just going to paint a little bit here. I'm going to start all the way around the bottom. So hopefully by the time I get towards the top, the bottom will be a little more dry and I can flip it back over. So next I'm going to add some green right beside it, and I'm doing it just in a straight line across the bottom, just so it'll be even whenever I turn it around. I'm going to add a little bit of pink beside. I need some more glue there. And I'm going to put a few pieces down and then go back over with my paintbrush with the Mod Podge. So I've got a couple down, and I'm going to go back over, make sure that is nice and secure on my jar. So you can see it's really not too difficult to do, but it's going to come out really cool. And I don't know if you can see, it's kind of hard to see. Sometimes little wrinkles will get in there. And I think that's kind of cool. I wouldn't worry about getting the wrinkles out because it adds a little bit of texture to the glass. So that always turns out kind of cool. So no need to worry about getting all the little wrinkles out. So again, just going to paint a little bit around. Going to get some of my tissue paper and add it down. And the white is going to show up really well with all the little dots in them that I was talking about. Be careful if you get the Mod Podge on your fingers when you're touching the rest of your paper, just so you don't have everything stuck to you by the end of this. I'm sure I'll be covered in it, but that's why we got our paper towels. It's always fun when we get a little messy with crafts. So So I've almost made it all the way around. Let's see, I'm going to put a green right here to connect these two. And you can overlap these. You can put them right side by side, however you want to do it. It's going to look really cool once we get that candle in there and it's lit up. All right, after I get this on here, I'm just going to rotate around the whole jar so you can see exactly what it's looking like. Make sure I don't have any, I like to check and make sure there's not any glue running anywhere, just so it doesn't dry like that. So you can see I've painted my glue all the way around. I've got, it's kind of hard to see right there. It looks like I didn't do anything, but there's some white tissue paper there. And we've got pink and green and blue. And I just like to make sure that it's not, it's kind of thick right there. It's kind of hard to see in here, but it is kind of thick. So we want to brush over that, make sure it's a nice thin coat, not too thick. That way it won't take forever to dry and it'll dry nice and even. And I'm just going to start brushing all the way down. I'm going to go around again. I'm not going in any patterns. So I think it'll look really cool whenever all the colors are kind of mixed together at the end. So we're going to just keep going around, painting that Mod Podge on there, getting our tissue paper. And this is why I like to do a little bit here and there, so that I'll put some tissue paper on and then I'll put the Mod Podge and then add a little bit of tissue paper and then more Mod Podge. And then if I need to cut some more, I know that way I don't have any left over at the end, or I'm not ripping a bunch of tissue paper for 20 minutes. So I did this one time before, and I found these really cool napkins at Dollar Tree. And it was around springtime, and they said something like, "Welcome to our home," and had some pretty flowers, something like that. And I bought the tall candles they actually had at Dollar Tree. They were just white candles, and it was just a clear glass jar around the candle. They were about this tall, about the same height as a napkin actually. And I just cut out around the design and then wrapped it around the entire candle. And so it was kind of like a little homemade candle, turned a plain, simple white candle into a fun little spring decor I could add into my house. And it turned out really well. So you can be on the lookout if you're wanting to do something like this and just add something simple to your house, just a little bit of decoration, maybe to your kitchen table or something like that. Find you a fun napkin like that. Or I even saw some that had like dogs on it, and you could just cut out around the shape and do it that way. I've done another one. Let me show you what it's looking like first. So you can see I'm just going around. And again, I've got white tissue paper on there. It's kind of hard to see in the light, but I think it's gonna look really good once it's all completely covered. But another one I did is I had gotten an empty wine bottle and I got tissue paper, and it was black and had this really pretty floral design. And I just kind of, just like this, placed it all around. And then I bought some, it's like little lights that is on a cork, and I ordered them online. And you stick the cork in the top of the wine bottle, and it's got a little switch that turns the light on or off. And so whenever it dried and I use the light now, it's a cool little, like a little lamp type thing, because the light shines through the white design on the tissue paper. So it turned out really cool. I should have brought it in and I could have showed that as an example today. But Mod Podge is just so easy to use, so much fun. And I mean, really anyone, any age can use it. And the options are unlimited here. I started getting a little thick, so I gotta brush mine down. All right, I think I'm gonna add some, I got a pink right there. I'll add some blue. So whenever y'all make these at home, I'd love to see pictures of them. You can send them in to us here at the Enrichment Center, and maybe we can just have a whole collection of all of our different crafts that we do. And speaking of crafts, we're going to try to do these pretty regularly. And our next craft is going to be a whole lot of fun. So if you like painting, then make sure you join us for our next craft, because it is going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to tell you any more about it, but it does involve painting. So that's a good time. And I'm not sure if we've ever done anything like it here before, but you have to wait and see. It'll be sometime in February. Just be checking out our center post, looking for when that's going to be. We'll have a sign up for it, just like this one. You can sign up to watch it live, and then it'll be recorded as well. Starting to run out of space where I can hold, but it'll be all right. Need to add a little bit more down there at the bottom so that one piece will fit. I'm just going to do it to the side over here. Going to have sticky tissue paper hands by the end of this. Make sure even after you get the tissue paper on there, you put this Mod Podge over it. That way it'll seal it on and it won't come off. It'll help it stick down, and it looks white right now. Excuse me, it looks white, but the tissue paper will, or the Mod Podge will dry clear on the tissue paper. So you won't have to worry about seeing that. Because right now mine just looks like a bunch of glue on a glass jar. But we'll get it dried and it will look very nice. I'd probably wait at least 24 hours when you're finished to let it completely dry, just to make sure nothing sticks to it. We're obviously not going to stay on this video that long, but I would let it sit out and dry overnight or till tomorrow, however long you want to wait, but at least 24 hours so nothing sticks to it. Got one piece not wanting to stick over here. And this Mod Podge goes a really long way. Like I said, I bought this little container at Hobby Lobby for about $5, and we're nowhere close to using a lot of it. So this will last for a lot of your projects, and maybe we can find something else to use this for later. You can do things at home with it too. Another really fun thing to do with Mod Podge is if you get terracotta pots, the little clay pots, you can usually find them at Lowe's in the spring, maybe even Walmart, but you can do this on those. So you can use Mod Podge on those as well. So that's another fun one. That's probably one I would probably be more likely to use fabric on a terracotta pot instead of something like this, just because the terracotta is a little thicker and the fabric is going to be thicker as well. But that's always really fun. You can make some flower pots, different designs, spruce up your front porch. And I do want to show you one thing whenever we get to the top of our jar. Let me get this piece on here. So I'm going to hold it from the back side. When we get to the top, just like the bottom, you can go right up to the edge like we did, or you can tuck it over a little bit. What I'm going to do with mine is just put it slightly over and tuck it onto the inside and Mod Podge right around the lip at the top, just so the top ring is completely covered as well. I think that'll look better than leaving it a little jagged down here on the side. So again, you can do it however you would like. That's just how I'm going to do mine. So let me add my Mod Podge again. And you can see how quick this goes. It really doesn't take long at all to do this. Doesn't take much in materials. I got almost all of this at Dollar Tree. So this is a fun, cheap craft you can do if you're stuck at home, or you've got your grandkids over, anything like that. It'd just be a little fun thing to do. Let me glue this down and then I'll show you what I'm talking about, tucking it under. Because I'm not going to do the inside, especially if you're going to put a candle in there. We don't want to do the inside, but I do want to cover the top of the glass. Let me get this glued on here. All right, so with our Mod Podge, I'm just going to go right around the top, just like we were. Just make sure we get it coated and just barely on the inside. And whenever I put my tissue paper on, I'm going to press the outside first and then just slightly down onto the inside. And that's, about an inch down there. Half an inch is going to be fine. It's not going to bother anything if it's in there, but we just don't want to cover the entire inside. And again, when we go over it with our Mod Podge, make sure you go over the top and right down onto the inside as well. And I'll show you what that looks like. So now whenever we're finishing, it'll be all the way around the ring right there. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and sit mine down on the table. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a mess since I didn't put it around the bottom. I gotta add some color over here though. It's looking pretty plain over here. But like I said, a lot of these things you might already have around your house. You could do this with if you're at home. I know here we've got some bad weather coming up this weekend. So if you're inside and you get a little bored, maybe you want to do something with some Mod Podge. This would be a fun little thing. Help pass the time, and then you can have a cute little candle holder, centerpiece, pen holder, whatever you want it to be. And I'm going to overlap mine a little bit at the top just to make sure everything is covered. And at the end, I'll go back around and make sure all the places are covered as well. I'm going to rip a little bit of pink here. Oh, got them stuck to my finger already. I almost measured this one out. It's pretty good. I've only got a few pieces left. I'll probably have to rip a little bit more tissue paper, but that's a pretty good guess there. All right. One thing I didn't do on this piece right here is put the Mod Podge all the way on the inside. Make sure you get it down on the inside before you put it down, put the tissue paper down. That way it'll stick really well. I just put a little bit thicker there because I did forget to put some Mod Podge on the inside. So make sure you get that down first before the tissue paper. That way it adheres very well. All right, got just a little bit left on this side over here. I'm gonna go ahead and paint up, and then, like I was just saying, right around the inside so that I don't forget this time. All right, I guess I'll do a white piece around here now. So remember, whenever y'all make these, make sure you send us a picture in. That center post I was talking about, our newsletter, has contact information in. You can send it, or, I'd love for you to, you can just email it right to me if you'd like. I'll be happy to show everyone here what we're making in our craft class. got a little thick up top there. Gonna try to brush that down some so it's not too thick. Running out of spaces to hold here. Towards the end, when you're adding that last bit of Mod Podge, just be very gentle so that you don't rip off the tissue paper that you've already put onto the jar, because it's not dry yet, so the tissue paper can come off. So just be careful around the tissue paper when you're adding that Mod Podge that you don't pull it off. This one doesn't have too many wrinkles in it like some of them I've done before, like I was talking about earlier, but it's still got a few. And I just like that 3D texture that it gives. Let's see. Put some green across the top and then just tuck it over. Add a little bit of white. I think I want a piece of blue on this last piece. Be careful when you go back to touch your tissue paper. If you've got Mod Podge on your hands, you might be stuck to everything. All right. And then I will put that Mod Podge down on the last ones. After I've got all of them covered, almost got them. Make sure I get around the inside up here at the top. All right, we're just gonna go around and make sure that, I actually want to add one more little piece right here. I think it's pretty covered, but I'm gonna add one more piece right at the top right here. It just looked like it was missing something right there. But you can see how this would look really cool with different shapes. So say you got the tissue paper and you cut out all hearts and then you glued them around. That would look really cool with all these different colored paper in the heart shapes all the way around. So now that we've got everything on, we're just going to make sure that there's no open spaces. Everything's covered. Everything looks nice and glued down. Again, you're going to have to be careful because it is going to be kind of sticky, but I see a piece over here that I didn't glue down very well. So just make sure it's down. There's a piece of glass showing. So as you can see, pretty easy to miss some pieces, but all we have to do is just add a little bit of Mod Podge, a little bit of tissue paper, and cover it right up. And with this white, it's also kind of hard to see, but I can see the polka dots on it, and that's how I'm telling what is covered versus what's not covered. Apparently I wasn't paying very good attention at the beginning because I missed several spots. All right. So now we're just going to go all the way around, make sure there's nothing missing. And if you wanted it to leave some missing, then that's perfectly fine too. It's all up to you. And that's the good thing about this is it gets to be unique to everyone. So we've got this on. Now, let me wipe my hands off so I don't stick to everything. So now is when we would want to let it dry. So I would just set it to the side. You can leave it right here as long as no one's going to get into it. Nothing's gonna mess with it. Let the glue dry. Again, like I said, it looks very pasty and very white right now. When it dries, the glue will dry clear. So you'll be able to see your design, your colors, whatever it was you used, which will be really fun. Like I said earlier, I had a tea light And so you could get a little candle you can put in there. I'm not sure if it'll show on here, but I just have a little battery powered tea light. And all we would do is when it dries, I'm going to try to be very careful so that I don't get it wet. But I would just stick it down in there, and then you might be able to see it. I see a little bit of a flicker down here. You can see at nighttime, this would make a really cool little thing on your table, maybe on your nightstand beside your bed, or while you're reading your book. You get all these different colors showing out in the room. So such an easy, fun thing. That's a cool little thing to look at. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you find a cool glass that you can make, a cool shaped bottle. And remember, if you like painting, make sure you join us for February, because we are going to have a really cool, fun painting thing. And I will see you next time. Bye.